Hello, my name is Masha. I'm the ArtSig facilitator, and today I will talk about teaching and exploring the arts in the villages. So, why is it important to teach arts in our program? First, it gives our students a view into the culture, traditions, beliefs, history of the target language. And when we talk about art history, we are not only talking about the folk arts, the classical arts, but it's important to talk about the contemporary arts as well. So what is going on in the world of art right now? It's important in our lesson plans in our program to talk about contemporary artists who integrate classical history or cultural ideas into their projects. The arts help students learn to say what cannot be said. At the villages, we see kids come in with a wide range of language proficiency levels. Our students come as novice learners, advanced learners, and even heritage speakers. And at the beginning, they're not always able to express themselves in the target language. So for many, participating and taking art activities gives them a voice and a way to express themselves. Often I ask myself when starting a lesson, how can I teach art in a way that makes my students take pride in their own cultural identity while gaining respect and appreciation for the art and customs of other cultures? By exposing our students to cultures and traditions their peers in other countries are surrounded by, we get to guide our kids to look closer at their own environment and the culture they're immersed in. So when thinking about what type of activities we can offer to our students that are related to the arts, the possibilities are endless. After working for Concordia Language Villages for about 14 years now, as in the summer programs as well as running family programs during academic years, I have been able to try my hand at a lot of different type of art activities. I've taught folk art, art history, poetry, literature, music, and song activities, even culinary activities, as well as dance when opportunity presented. But it is very important when you're offering activity that you're passionate about the subject matter. Your students will be able to tell if you're truly interested in the subject. So your passion and interest in what you're going to teach them will determine how engaged your students will be throughout this learning process. However, we're not experts in everything that we offer in our programs. It is good to take creative risks and let our students see and understand that taking risk can have a wonderful payoff. A lot of the times we are not able to be experts in the type of activity that we offer. However, when our students see that we are teaching them something that we might not be familiar with, but we are truly dedicating ourselves to making sure that we give our students the right information and the right techniques, they will understand that it's okay to try something new. In fact, it's important to try something new because who knows, by the end of it, they might develop a completely new and interesting hobby coming out of your class. Also, let your students teach you something new as well. When we offer an activity, a lot of the times our students come in with already a bit of a knowledge background into that subject. That is why they chose your activity, because they know something about it, or they might want to try something new. But if they know something about it, they may already have some information stored in their mind, and they may be able to ask you a question that completely throws you off. And that's okay. It's together you will be able to answer that question and learn something that is not only new to your students, but is also new to you as well. So once we have come up with an idea for our art activity or our art lesson, it's important to consider a few questions when preparing your lesson. So I often ask myself first, what will my students take away by the end of the activity? So final project, there's usually a final project that we want our students to complete, a goal that we're working towards throughout the learning process. Then key information. What type of information regarding culture, history, tradition, and beliefs we want our students to take away from this experience? How do I introduce the subject matter that engages the students from the very start to the end and helps them look forward to that project that they will be working on? And how do I make this activity relevant to all? So the kids who come to our programs come from all over the country, the world, and from all different walks of life. So it's very important that the information that we give them resonates with each individual. Project-based learning. So we hear quite a bit about that in our program. So by the end of the activity, we want our villagers to live with a finished project, but also with hunger to explore the subject even further. We teach our students a lot of information, and we want them to retain quite a bit. But we also want them to take ownership of the project that they were working on. We want them to share with their peers outside of that activity the knowledge that they have accumulated. We want them to take ownership of this knowledge, and it also becomes a rewarding experience for us as teachers when we see our students share what they've learned from us. There are a lot of different ways that we can present our projects in our programs. But we want to give our students the opportunity to share what they've learned, but most importantly also is to express themselves through the artistic medium. There are a lot of different options that you can try. There are art galleries that you can set up in your village, a play or a movie screening if this was a drama activity, dance recital, or a teaching session. So your students could teach the dance that they've learned or they created during your dance activity, poetry reading, cooking lesson, or bake sales, and also run a Sunday activity or evening program station, which will allow your students to share again what they have learned through this learning process. So how much information should I really give to my students? Often when we plan our lessons, there's a certain amount of time that we get to spend with our kids, whether it's 45 minutes to an hour, 4 to 5 days a week, or even shorter period of time on the weekends. it is important to find that balance between how much background information we teach and actual time spent learning the skill. So there's one important question I want my students to be able to ask right away, as well as answer by the end, and it is why. The why question. Why was it important for me to know about the subject matter? Why is this topic important to the people in the target culture? And then give them the opportunity to ask the who and the when and the what and the where questions. When we can get our students thinking about the bigger theme from the very start, it takes our lesson to a completely new next level. Students not only walk away with a beautiful project, they walk away with a deeper understanding of another culture and a deeper understanding of themselves. In class, we are facilitators rather than authority figures. Student-centered lessons give students the opportunity to participate instead of just sit, learn, and produce. So when we give open-ended questions, we allow our students time to reflect on the information that they have received and how it relates to their own culture and their own identity. And in hopes that that idea, that reflection time will help our students create great projects that are more relevant to them and who they are. We help our students become independent critical thinkers, problem solvers, and self-assessors. So by giving them time to reflect upon their own culture and how the ideas could be relevant in their own world, it could lead to an art-making project in which students are able to seek out unique approaches and create works that respond to their own culture and who they are. So what type of skills or abilities should you possess as an art teacher? And we already possess those skills as teachers, as artists. Some skills that I find relevant are take risk as an artist and then model behavior. When our students see us take risks, learn something new, or teach something that we may not have been familiar with at the beginning, they are also taking risks by learning from you and trying something new with you at the same time. Model flexibility and adaptability is very important in our programs, especially when we run out of white paint in the middle of a project and we need to be able to somehow adapt and move on so that the project is still relevant, right? Possess artistic skills to deal with any situation that might arise, create successful sequential lessons that are developmentally appropriate, of course. Be flexible, assess progress and success of your lesson plan, and make any necessary adjustments. Teaching style, material, equipment. Use the arts to foster and build healthy self-esteem, and of course, manage time effectively. So then we move on to what we want to see, what we want to do with the arts in our programs. So the Arts Integrated Group, it brings together members of the CLV community who will help build and share and create resources for teaching and inspiring our participants to embrace the art as integral part of the language and culture. So our goal is to be able to collaborate on ideas which we can take across our CLV community. And as we move on into this new summer, there are a couple of different ideas which have been brought forward, and a couple of different ideas which I think would be interesting to explore as the arts community, art group. An idea that was brought up at the end of last summer session was creating a project which is something that every single program will be able to participate in, is learning through our hands. We use our hands all the time with gesture. We express our ideas, our opinions with our hands. We learn with our hands. So creating a project where our villagers, our students, are able to show us how they learn with their hands, how they soak in the information and the knowledge that we give them reflects in how they see their identity even through their hands. That is one of the ideas which was proposed. Another idea was a collaborative weaving project. So taking something that is commonly found in every single culture, which is textile work, and incorporating some of the more modern ideas. And we've seen weaving projects become very popular and integrated into our lives, is weaving. Having each program or each village create their own textile project, where it can start with a question that we ask everyone, and having them interpret that question in their textile project, into their weaving project, or even just asking everyone a question and giving each participant an opportunity to write an answer on a piece of string, a piece of ribbon, or whether it's fabric ribbon or paper ribbon, which is biodegradable, and then weaving that together at the end of the summer or during international days into one large textile, and seeing how we respond to the same questions in our own programs. And another, as well as last project, which where the idea came from a Lithuanian artist, where we would create an installation of masks. We wear many different types of masks throughout the day, and the idea here came from using materials found in nature and creating a mask showing how we see ourselves in our program, in our learning environment. So these are just some of the ideas which we have discussed in our arts interest group, and we welcome more ideas. I can be contacted at mlbleeker@cord.edu, and I will be very happy to listen to more ideas, as well as start dialogues on how we can take the arts in our programs and expand on that to incorporate the entire CLV community.